April, I got to tell you, prior to you coming on, we promoted that you were going to be on the show. I received not only 2 texts, but 3 tweets, or whatever you want to say that they post on X nowadays, stating they couldn't wait to see this segment. I'm with them. So in this case, you're going to provide us with not one, not two, but count them, 6 tips that folks can really focus on with regard to having a mindset shift. And so with that, let's talk about tip number 1.
Yeah, I always tell people to focus on quality and not quantity. When you go on a dating app, there always seems like there's just a plethora of options. And it's kind of like when you go to Home Depot to pick out a paint color, there's too many options and it becomes overwhelming. And people just tend to just sit there and they get like in this mode of swiping and not really thinking about it. So I always say, really focus on the quality in the conversations that you're having with people to help to bring you closer instead of having a ton of conversations going on.
You know, the best part about this is, April, is that I can apply that to pretty much my everyday life. I really think
Yeah,
I can.
right, right. Yeah, it's so true.
The second tip surrounds really being clear
Mhm.
on what you're looking for. Do tell.
Right. So I always focus on people's values in the long term because you might, there might be trends and things, come and go, but what is going to keep someone in a relationship long term or if they have aligned values? And those are deal breakers. Those are true breakers. So if somebody wants to, get married or have kids or if their religion is really important to them, those are things that you can't just, push to the side and rely on that chemistry to be able to get you through the relationship because that eventually subsides and you have to really have at the end of the day your values are what matters most.
Yeah. Okay. So I got a question, April. I remember going on a date, and at that date, date number 1, the young lady stated to me, I can't wait to get married. And I got to tell you, it somewhat rubbed
Hmm.
me the wrong way after meeting her or
Yeah,
knowing her for only 5 minutes. And that's one of the things that she
right.
said. Is there a time frame with regard to that?
Well, that just comes off as being kind of desperate and and nobody wants to feel like they're being pushed in any which way. So yeah, it's not attractive. Nobody wants something that's easily available. It's like a diamond, right? It's
Yeah.
rare. And everybody wants that rarity, but if you're just, a grain of sand, then of course you're not going to be as attractive. So it's just basic, basic logic there. But I think she was definitely a little too eager, so could use a little coaching there,
That's why we
for
love
sure.
this advice because it is truly rare, like a diamond. The next tip happens to be invest your time in the right spaces.
Right. So, put yourself in situations and places where you're going to meet the kind of people that are a good fit for you. So, for example, if your values are, working out or being active or adventurous, you can go to places that will have those kinds of situations. So, maybe it's the gym or some kind of group. There's a lot of great meetup groups. There's a lot of things that are popping up that are facilitating people to meet in person. So, I highly recommend people do that and yeah, just getting out there, even a networking event, because
Mm.
those are going to be full of other single people that are probably business minded as well, so you're going to have some things in common with them. You don't have to have everything in common with them, but at least it's a good start.
April, I feel as if you could read my mind because my next question happened is around. Obviously, you want to be around like-minded people, but don't opposites attract? Haven't we all heard that as well?
We can. Right. So, for certain things, I think that your values still need to be aligned at the end of the day. You can't get away from that. But people can have different interests and tastes and likes, and that's where I think opposites can attract because it can be that novelty, the newness, novelty, and it can be interesting and attractive, even seductive, to have somebody that's different than you, as long as you're open to it. And that's part of I think the fun in a new relationship is getting to know someone because you're introducing each other to your worlds, and it's new. And that's what just keeps you captivated.
Yeah, which allows us to segue into number 4, which you just touched on, and that
Mhm.
is stay grounded in your values. That's so
Yes.
key.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The right relationship won't ask you to be somebody that you're not. So it's important to, know who you are, know what's important to you. We have people go through a values assessment that it's kind of a tool that we use with some of our clients when we're doing some date coaching. And it basically puts their values up against each other and they weigh them to see what's their biggest priority. And these are things such as, like honesty, integrity, wisdom, health, just those are real things. They're not like eye color or height or things that are more superficial. These are things that are intrinsic in you that are going to matter 40 years down the road. So that's what I always say. People are so focused on the here and now and the superficial things, but if you want a long lasting relationship that's going to make it through the ups and downs, you really need to focus on what matters most, and that's a person's value.
What she said.
Values, I should say.
I agree
Yeah.
wholeheartedly, April. Especially the part about the height thing. As a guy that stands 5'7", us short guys need love as well.
Well, of course, and I think that, yeah, what do they call it, the short kings, right? They're a bunch of men that are just. That's what I hate about the apps, because they are putting filters on there, so they're being able to filter people out, and it's just, I think people are really missing out on some gems. For
Awesome. All right. The next one happens to be make sure, and I'll repeat it, make sure you are emotionally available.
Yeah, and what a novel idea, right? So, I mean, a lot of people are still hung up on their exes. Maybe they're hurt. They're carrying that baggage forward. And you have to recognize what is your sensitivities, what are your past traumas. And so you're not putting those on the next person. Oftentimes, I see people that will kind of date down, or they'll date somebody that just is not ever going to really be the kind of person that they would really want to enter into a long-term relationship with. And the reason why they do it is because they're scared to actually find the real one ultimately. Or they sabotage relationships whenever they find somebody that it starts to get real, it starts to get serious. And then they'll say other people are the ones that the other person is the one that's not emotionally available, but really it's them that they're sabotaging it, because they're scared to actually be vulnerable and open up. And we all have had past traumas. I just highly recommend, we all just do our work, whether it's meeting with a counselor, therapist, or reading books, or just, having that self-reflection
Which,
and really making sure that we're doing our part and recognizing our part in the past relationships that haven't worked out, so we don't repeat those same mistakes.
yeah, which leads us to our last point, or in this case, your last point, and that happens to be open to support. I absolutely love that.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Like I said, a therapist, there's relationship coaches, of course, there's matchmakers. And I love also, letting your family, friends know that you're single. I think the number one way to meet somebody for a long-term relationship is through someone else. So if you are looking for a relationship, let everyone know that, hey, I'm open and I'm single, ready to mingle. So, set me up and introduce me. And then also be sure not to like put it on them. If the relationship doesn't work out, it's not their fault. They're doing you a favor. It's just a random act of kindness that they're going to be making an introduction for you. And so don't blame them if it doesn't work out. Just be open-minded to the experience. Enjoy getting to know someone and learning something new about somebody.
I can see it now. It's all your fault. It's all your
Oh
fault.
yeah, it happens. And that's why a lot of people don't want to refer their friends to set them up with each other, because they're afraid. But you just never know; it could work out.
Yeah, good stuff. Absolutely love this, April. Folks that want to find out more information and or rehash these tips, how would one go about to do so?
They can go to our website at lumasearch.com. It's LUMA. It stands for Luxury Matchmaking, and so LUMA search.com, and fill out the profile form.
All right, there she is, matchmaker and founder of LUMA Luxury Matchmaking, Miss April Davis, yet again back here on the Live Zone. Always love chatting with you, April. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. Take care.
You bet. All right, guys, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.